What's up, guys? It's your boy Cam back again with another video here from Grappler's Graveyard. Today we're going to be going over some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu basics that may be neglected or you haven't really been talked about in your school. Today is going to be about the back mount. There's a lot of ways you're going to be finding yourself on somebody's back, and I feel like there's some principles that should be talked about. Before we get started, be sure to check out the links in my description. I have rash guards and athletic soap for grapplers available for purchase currently. And be sure to check out our website, right? We have a ton of content related to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, weightlifting, strength training, you kind of name it, recovery. We have it, right? We buy and test products for you guys to be able to help you find things that ultimately help you become a better athlete. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Today, we're going to be talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu back mount. So, right now, we are starting. Here is Jerry, right? What is back mount to even begin with? There's a couple of ways that you can get into back mount, right? Somebody can be in turtle, and you could be on their back. Technically, it's back mount. And if they're in the sitting position, and this is back mount, right? Back mount is when you clearly have someone's back, and you are controlling them. You have this grip called a seatbelt grip where you have an overhook and an underhook on the body of this person, and your ear is attached to their ear ultimately to create some pressure there. Now, seems super simple, right? Again, this is a position that's going to be very common. You're going to find yourself in this very often if you're training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it's one of those day one things that, coaches don't necessarily talk about, but you'll find yourself in. So you have this seatbelt grip, right? Some key points that I kind of touched on very briefly. The seatbelt grip, right? You want to cup your hands like this and have, I believe cup your hands and have, there is a way that you want to grip. You want to have your underhook, because if they push this down, at least you still have this. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So there are some key points here when it comes down to the seatbelt grip, right? The overhook, underhook, right? You see how my hands are? They are cupped to one another. And the way I like to think about my shoulder and my head to my ear here is I like to kind of think like my arm is squeezing this way, right? Like I'm squeezing my shoulder and my ear together to be able to create this pressure on the head, so I'm really honing in and keeping this tight. You want to keep this as tight as possible to your body. The more space you have in this position, the more likely they are to be able to get out. You make it easier. This is a really dominant position. If you are in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, a back mount, taking somebody's back is 4 points, right? Like this is a position that this person does not want to be in, because there's a lot of attacks that I can ultimately come up with when it comes down to it. So if you notice, right, I have the seatbelt grip, and I want to have this underhook on top of the overhook. Why? Right? The person's main defense here is going to be to grab and pull down and push down one of the arms. If your underhook is the one that they push down, right, you still have this overhook to be able to come across their neck. Now they have to defend, right? Because now their neck is threatened, okay? They start to try to attack this hand, right? That's when you sneak this hand right over, boom, and then now you're going for a rear naked choke, ultimately to submit them. So key point here, right? The underhook hand is going to be on top. You're going to be squeezing this chest. You're going to be squeezing that shoulder and that ear together. Now, let's say, because you're not going to be seated in this position the entire time when you are in back mount. Chances are you're probably going to roll to a side, and then this person is going to try to start to defend and either advance the position, get out of back mount, or whatever the case may be. What do? Right? So I have this arm controlled, everything along those lines. Hypothetically, if I go this way, okay, right, if I lean this way, this is the position, this is the way that I want to lean, right? Like I want to lean towards the overhook hand because again, it's super easy for me to be able to control still. His arm is blocking himself here, right? It's underneath him. It's underneath me. So it's going to be really hard for him to be able to defend, and I can still attack. If I go to the underhook side, now it's the same situation, but my arm is blocking myself, and this arm, this underhook arm, is underneath his arm, right? So it's just harder for me to be able to control the position. So when you are going to your side from a back mount position, go to the side of the overhook, use that side, use that to advantage to be able to advance and attack. There are some more key points that you want to pay attention to when you are in back mount, right? You never want to cross your legs like this. Anybody that's advanced will know how to ankle lock you from here and ultimately either break your ankle or submit you. And you don't want to be in a position where you are in a very dominant position, you cross your feet, and then end up getting submitted from a very dominant position. At the end of the day, like, that sucks, right? When you know you're in a good position and you ultimately fumble it just because of a one tiny mistake, people will take advantage of that, and just be aware. What I even like to do at times, it could be a little risky. I'm a little bit more of a risk taker when it comes to this. Sometimes I like to cross my legs to almost distract the person. Like, oh, hey, I see this. And they try to go and throw their leg over. That's when I can, last minute, boom, get this underhook underneath this leg, and then try to shoot for a bow and arrow choke, which ultimately we have a tutorial on our website, or on our YouTube channel, so be sure to check that video out if you want to see that. But back mount, again, is you're going to have this overhook, underhook situation going. You can do the same thing from turtle. I don't have a grappling dummy that's ultimately firm enough to be able to work turtle position, but turtle is, for those of you that don't know, is like this, right? Hypothetically, you are able to control the back and have that seatbelt grip, ultimately able to work a ton of different submissions. From back mount, you can go for the rear naked choke. You can go for potential arm bars. You can go for bow and arrow chokes. You can go for all different types of things. It's a really dominant position that ultimately people don't really want to find themselves in. Some people are comfortable in it, some people aren't. Now, I don't have anybody to be able to go over how to escape back mount, but what you want to do, if I can explain it the best I possibly can without a dummy, you want to be able to control the arms first, right? Don't let your neck get attacked. Don't let your neck be in a compromised position. That's your first point of contact. Like I said, whichever way their over-underhook is controlled, you want to lean to the opposite side of the overhook, right? So the side when I was here, boom, right? The overhook, underhook, I want to lean to this side if I'm him. When I'm there, control the arms and turn into them. Kind of counterintuitive with the way it works, but maybe I'll make a video about that in the near future, about how to escape back mount and how it just kind of look. Nonetheless, I believe that those are all the principles that I did have that I wanted to talk about for the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu back mount. Again, my name is Cameron. I am the founder of Grappler's Graveyard. We're here to help you become better athletes. Ultimately, our website is full of great content to help you do just that, finding exercise equipment, recovery equipment, talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, news, boxing, MMA, all different types of things. Without further ado, if you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Never miss a video. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.